Hello, fellow collectors. It's time for another weekly haul video, and as has been the trend for the last few weeks, I have way too much stuff to show. So we'll see how how long this video goes, and we may end up with another two-parter, but we'll see. I have a ton of stuff from Matchbox and a bunch of Hot Wheels, including Hot Wheels Premium, some Sparkies, Greenlight, some very interesting Chinese diecast, both premium and some more, intermediate level, uh, brands. We have a Schuco Lamborghini there, and there's a Johnny Lightning hiding back there, and various other things. So a lot to look at. And first up, we're going to take just a quick review of the cars here in front of us, which are the Matchbox Global series. So these are all 14 models from that series, and I actually covered these in a pair of videos earlier this week. So we're not going to look at these in detail. I just wanted to give a brief recap. So the Global series again is 14 vehicles. It is I believe it's targeted at international markets, definitely the U.S., and it packages vehicles that were released in other series around the world, particularly the UK and France series. And then I'm assuming there must be a Russian series or some other series that they also draw from, because there's a few vehicles in here that have Russian liveries on them. But I did two unboxing videos on these earlier this week where we opened these and took a look at each of the models. So I'm not going to go over them again, other than just the highlights. So for me, the highlight of Mix A. So this is Mix A. These first six here. The highlight of Mix A was this Land Rover, and there was a primary reason that I picked it up, because I collect Land Rovers. So it's just a very nice, basic green Land Rover. And then the highlight of Mix B was, for me, this Lamborghini, which I wasn't sure what livery this is, but I've since been told by a couple people that this is indeed a French police livery. It's not, absolutely correct, but it is inspired, let's say, by the French police. Whether they actually use Lamborghinis or not, I have no idea. I would suspect they probably don't. But anyway, this is a very cool one. And then the other secondary highlight was this Russian police BMW M5, which I thought was really cool. And then one other correction. In my prior video, I had said that I thought that this was a Portuguese ambulance, but I was also corrected on this by a couple people who said that this is also a French ambulance livery. So this is a really cool set. So again, this is Mix A, and then this is Mix B, sorry, and which was 6 cars in Mix A, 10 cars in Mix B, and then the third highlight of Mix B was the Citroen 2CV, which is absolutely beautiful. For a mainline Matchbox, I talk about this quite often on the channel. How I just absolutely love some of the mainline Matchboxes for their ability to just capture the core essence of the car, and I think this one does that. I think it's not a perfect detailed model, and I'm sure that no Suit 2CV was ever sold with a chrome interior, but that's what you've got to do on a dollar model in order to get the chrome, the chrome bumper and on the front and the back. And otherwise, this is just a beautiful model. So, if we can get something to focus here. Okay, there we go. So that's this. Let's get these out of the way, so that we can start to take a look at some of this other stuff, because there's a lot to get to here. And then the one other model that I also opened in an earlier video that I picked up this week is this Nissan GTR Nismo GT500, and this is from a brand called Speed GT, which came in my box of Chinese diecast, I guess you will. At first, I thought this was going to be a very high-end model. I thought it may have even been a resin model, but it's not. It's a diecast model, and it's roughly equivalent to a Sparky, like these. It seems to be of a similar quality level, which is still very, very nice. It's an excellent model, but it's definitely not at the super premium level that I thought it may have been. I still love it. I think it's a fantastic car, but for the price point, it was maybe not particularly good value. All right, so let's start to dig into this. First up, other things this week. I picked up the Hyper Hauler set from Hot Wheels. This is the latest car culture set that's should be hitting stores now. So let's start with one of 5. I'm not going to open these. I'm going to do a separate video on these later because I want to take a pretty good look at them. So the first, we have the 99 Ford F-150 Lightning and in a nice silver color. This is very cool artwork. And then number 2 is the controversial model in this set because it's not a licensed model, the Baja Bouncer. I personally really like this model. I think it looks really cool for a desert truck style model, even though it's not licensed. It is a very cool model. Hot Wheels definitely does have other desert truck models in their catalog that are licensed. Like they recently put out a mainline Toyota. I don't remember exactly what it was called, but it was a Toyota off-road truck that would have fit for this if they had done a premium version of it. But anyway, I think this is cool. I like it, so I'm happy to have that. Number 3 is the 20 Jeep Gladiator. This one I wasn't really, when I first saw this set, I wasn't too enthused with it. But seeing it in hand and seeing the paint job and the details on it, it's actually a really nice version of this. It's much better than I was expecting. So it has some really good details that we'll get a closer look at when I finally open it. Number 4 of 5, and this is brand new casting, is this Ford Bronco R, which was something else I was really looking forward to. And this looks very cool. This is just a very cool vehicle overall. The real vehicle is very, very cool. And then the last model in the set is the 75 Datsun Sunny pickup. And this has been released a number of times, both in car culture and I think Fast and Furious. No, I take that back. There may not have been a Fast and Furious release, but definitely car culture. It's been released a couple times, I think. Anyway, this is a cool set. I actually like this set a lot better than I thought I would. I wasn't too sure about it, but now having it in hand, I'm really interested in getting them out of the package. I really like them. And then the second set that I'm working on this week is the Slide Street set. So this is the set car culture set from Hot Wheels prior to the Hyper Hauler set. So far I only have 3 of the 5 of these. I have the other 2 coming. I went ahead and just ordered them online because our stores are just useless at the moment. These showed up one day and then I have never seen them anywhere since. So I was lucky to find 3. And what was surprising to me was that I found the 3 that I thought would have been the most difficult to find. So the 3 I have are the Nissan Silvia, the Toyota GR Supra, and this Toyota AE86 Sprinter Truno. And I would have expected these would have been the 3 that were snatched up, but the other 2 are the Subaru BRZ and the Ford Mustang, a brand new Ford Mustang casting. So it was a little surprising that they were gone. But anyway, so I'll be getting those sometime next week, and then I'll do a video to open these up as well. Some other Hot Wheels that I just picked up today. Some older mainlines. This one is from 2015, or copyright's 2015, so this was probably a 2016 release. Just a Porsche 934 5.5. I just thought this one looked really cool, and nice black with blue wheels. It just looks slick to me. And I love this casting, and a great many Porsche castings. I'm a huge fan of Porsche, but this one's beautiful. Very happy to have that. And then another Porsche 356 Outlaw, and this is another 2016 release. It's a very beautiful kind of a teal color. Seems the autofocus on my camera does not like to autofocus anymore. But just a nice basic Hot Wheels. Nothing too special, but it's cool. I love this little car. And then I picked up this Fast and Furious BMW from the Eurofast set. This was the last one I needed to complete this set, so I went ahead and grabbed it. I had been looking for it at, in retail, like at a Target or Walmart or something, and I could never find it, so I just grabbed one from the collectible shop, paid a little extra for it. But I always feel a little bit, wrong about that, because they're part of the reason why you can't find anything in the stores. But oh well. This is an older model, so at this point it's not real likely you're going to find them anyways. I think it's a pretty cool looking model. It's just a basic white. It's not metallic or anything. And then it has these pretty cool looking 10-spoke green wheels. Just looks pretty good. Nice basic, or not basic, but nice premium Hot Wheels, such as you get with those. So cool. All right. Next up on the Hot Wheels front, I did pick up this Night Burners 5-pack, which has been a fairly in demand 5-pack. It has a 510 wagon in it. Has this Escort, which I collect those. I collect wagons, and I collect Porsches. This one I'm not too excited about, and this one actually, this top one, this Gas Monkey Corvette, it actually looks really cool. I have a couple other versions of this car and I've never been super enthused with it. But this in this nice flat gray with gloss black stripes and steely wheels, it looks really nice. Much better than any of the other versions of this car that I have. It's still probably not enough to make me really want to collect that casting, but it's definitely cooler than any of the others. So this Escort, nice kind of a metallic steel blue, I guess you would say. Gold rims. I really like this casting, especially the premium versions of it. But the mainline ones are pretty cool too. This is far from the best version of this that they've ever put out, at least in my opinion. But it's not bad, and it'll be a nice addition to the collection of those. And then next up is this 510 wagon, which is actually quite nice. Kind of a, I don't know, milk coffee color, you might say, with this nice, I guess it would be cherry blossom livery on it. Very Japanese inspired livery. 510 wagons are always cool. Wagons in general are always cool in my book. So very happy to have that. Next up is this Dodge Viper SRT 10 ACR. Nice metallic green. Not through the camera. Through the camera, this looks very green. Under the lights in the room, it's a more yellowish green. It has a more yellow tint than the camera is showing to me. I'm not a huge fan of this casting. I'm not a huge fan of Dodge Vipers overall, especially not this one. This one's a little too too stylized for me. It doesn't, it's almost a fantasy car in my book, but it's okay. And then the last one is this very cool Porsche. This is 934 Turbo RSR in this copper color with copper wheels. This is a nice metallic copper color. I mean, it's a little bit of a goofy, set of graphics on it, but it's a Hot Wheels. It's kind of what you get a lot of the time with Hot Wheels, and it's part of their charm. So it's still a very cool version of the car to me, and I'm very happy to finally have this. Next up, and this one was a complete surprise. So this is a Speed Blur 5-pack, which I found in a Walmart today, and has another 510 wagon in it. And there were 2 of these hanging on the pegs with 2 of the Nightburners 5-packs that I just opened. And this 5-pack is from 2019. So it's very weird that they would have this in the store at this time. So I don't know what the explanation of that is. We'll save the 510 for last because it is the best vehicle in this pack. This is definitely not as good as the Nightburners pack that I just opened. I mean, you get this really funky fantasy car. I don't even know what this is, but it's not my thing. This one I think looks kind of cool. Again, I don't know what this is. I guess it says on the package. What is this called? Team Hot Wheels Corkscrew. And this other one is kind of called a Dodge XP07. Okay, if you say so. Yeah, I mean, for a complete fantasy car, this isn't bad, but not my favorite things. This one I do kind of like though. This is the Monster Dairy Delivery, so kind of a goofy monster truck version of the dairy delivery. I don't know. It's silly, but kind of cool. It's okay. And then the last one is a Custom C3500. So this is a GMC maybe. It doesn't really say. So I suppose that technically makes it a unlicensed vehicle. It's just a long pickup truck. Nothing too exciting. Can't say that I'm a huge fan of this one. And then the last one is this very cool gray Datsun 510 wagon, which I'd seen these various times because this is an old 5-pack. I just didn't have one in my collection yet, so I was very happy to find this. It's really the only vehicle out of this set that I truly care about, but that's okay. So I can put it side by side with this one. Both, very Japanese-inspired liveries, but this one seems to be a little more modern-ish, I guess. Looks almost like a topographic map, I guess. So, very cool. Oops. And then one more Hot Wheels 5-pack. This one is also new. This is a new Hot Wheels Flames 5-pack. Get it to focus. I was mostly interested in this Camaro and this Ford Falcon, right? Is that what it is? Yeah, Ford Falcon XB. And then this car, let's just go ahead and open this. This 41 Willys. I've not been a huge fan of this vehicle. I think I have one other version of it that I got in a 5-pack. But this one actually looks really sweet. It's a nice flat black color, white and silver flames with these, plastic white wall tires. And this one, this one I think looks really cool. Definitely better than any other version of this that I've seen. So I'm actually pretty happy to have that one, even if, normally it wouldn't be my first choice of a car. Then we have the 68 Hemi Barracuda. This is a metallic purple with flames. This car always looks a little bit weird to me. The greenhouse looks a little too big and out of proportion. But it's not a terrible casting, and of course it's a Hot Wheels, so it has the big back wheel, which is a little bit hit or miss. I don't know, it's okay. And the Mustang, what is it, 69 Camaro. This casting I do like. I mean, obviously this is a pretty classic Hot Wheels casting. A lot of people collect this, so I'm sure this will be a popular 5-pack just because this car is in it. And this is not a bad looking version for having flames on it. It's a nice metallic, or probably more pearl white with gold flames, which looks pretty good actually. I'm definitely happy to have this one because I do sort of collect this. I don't significantly go after it, but I'll grab them when I see them. And I do like them. And then next up is the Dodge 69 Dodge Charger 500, and this is kind of a pearl red with white and orange stripes. Not my favorite Charger casting. I do like the 69 Charger. This is, not my favorite version of it, but it's not bad. Okay. And then the last one was the other one I was really interested in this pack, which is the 73 Ford Falcon XB. And I think this is a really cool car. Kind of similar to a Ford Torino to me. I don't know if they're based on the same vehicle or if I just kind of see commonality in them that maybe isn't really there. But I like this car. It's cool. And this is it's like a metallic, it's metallic teal, blue, and silver flames. Not the best version of this car that I have, but it's not bad. Flames 5-packs are always a little bit hit and miss for me. And in reality, probably more on the miss side than hit. But I do like these two. And this one. This one's looks really cool. I actually really like that one a lot, which I'm surprised by. All right. Let's see. What else do we have here? We have a Matchbox 9-pack. We have a couple older super fast. Found these earlier in the week in a grocery store. These are from, these are super fast has been retired, so it's now the collector's edition. And this one is a Riviera, right? Oh no, 64 Pontiac Grand Prix. And this color is actually really nice. It's going to be let down by the opening doors, which is always the problem with these super fasts. If they would just stop doing the moving parts, this line would be so much better. Because they just cannot do them as well as other companies. And if they would just stop doing them. This is a beautiful car in every other way. But the door, it doesn't even want to, it doesn't even want to open. That's as far as it's going to go. And then it's not going to shut well. Yeah. Come on, Matchbox. You don't need the moving parts. Hot Wheels doesn't have them. And they do fine at this price point. And you can do much cooler, more realistic vehicles without this nonsense. Yeah, this door. This is a very cool car. I'm really let down by these doors. sad. All right. And then one more super fast. This is in the category of, I'm not entirely sure why I picked this up. It seemed like kind of sort of cool. So this is the, what is this, 1962 Willys Jeep wagon. It's a nice color. Again, it's a blue metallic, and the tampos are not, they look kind of cool. I guess it's supposed to be, kind of a woody thing, and this does, I think, have opening doors, maybe. Yeah. Oh, terrible interior. That steering wheel. If you can call it a steering wheel. All right, we'll close that up because we don't want to look at that anymore. That was awful. But I don't know. This is an okay model. Again, I would prefer to see the moving parts go away and just to focus on a little bit more quality. Get the details on the front. And, put in a better looking steering wheel. I mean, not that I care that much about the interiors in reality, because most of the time you can't see them. And you don't really pay that much of attention, or I don't pay that much of attention to them. It's like, some of the Matchbox models don't even have interiors anymore. And, like something like this London Taxi, it has no interior. And that doesn't really bother me that much. I mean, for this, like this Land Rover, I mean, you can see into those windows, but you can't see anything in there. There is an interior in there. If you really look closely, you can see it. But, if this didn't have an interior, is it appreciably worse? Not really. So if they need to save money that way, then save money that way. Get rid of the opening doors. It'd be so much better. All right. Anyway, I'm going to stop complaining about that. Let's see. What else do we have here? A lot. Let's see. We got a Schuco Lamborghini Huracan. And I was very surprised to see when I got this model that this has asymmetric wheels. Back wheel is bigger than the front wheel, like a Hot Wheels. I was really surprised to see that. I mean, I don't know if they decided to do that because there's a slight difference in the size of the wheels on the real car. Nobody else does that. At least in higher quality models. Like this is a Mini GT. They didn't do that. It doesn't look terrible, but it's a little weird for a Schuco, because I like Schuco a lot, and they're usually pretty good, reasonably accurate models. So I was very surprised to see that. It's not a huge difference, but it is. This wheel's definitely bigger. But this is cool. It's a nice matte blue, and then obviously white stripes. You have a inserted headlight detail, which don't look too bad. Look like plastic mirrors. Got some engine detail. Taillights look pretty good. Painted taillight or exhaust pipes, tips, a Lamborghini logo on there. Got some glue residue or something here. I don't know. It's pretty cool. Not sure why they did the bigger rear wheel, but it doesn't look bad. On camera, it almost doesn't even look like they're different sizes, but they are. Trust me. So, again, the Mini GT version is definitely a little bit nicer, but clearly not exactly the same year. Neither one of these will have a year on them. This is a bad habit Diecast companies are Mini GT. It's like they keep putting out all these models, but they never put a year on them. It's like, are they not thinking ahead? I mean, what are they going to do, in the future when they need to put out a new version of it? I guess they can just stick a year on it on the new version, and it's the old version versus the new version that has a year, something like that. I don't know, but are these? Yeah, same car, right? These are both Huracans. I could get that wrong. It wouldn't be the first time. The what is it? The Huracan, and there's another Lamborghini that looks just like it. It's not the Aventador. Hot Wheels does it. What is it called? Oh, I'm gonna space. Anyway, doesn't matter. All right, let's see. We have a Greenlight here. Another wagon. This time it's a very dirty wagon from Hollywood series, Terminator 2, Judgment Day. This is the only one of these, I think, out of the series that I was really interested in. So I went ahead and picked that up. Looks to be a very cool, dirty version of the car. The white wall. Terrible. Terrible. Greenlight. At least you can't see, the windows are just dirty. You can't see the quality control issues that Greenlight always has with their windows. Do I dare open this? I probably shouldn't. It's kind of cool. They, nice, and they kind of like broke out the rear window, it looks like. Or is that just a manufacturing flaw? And we'll assume that they did that on purpose. It fits with the model, rather than complain about the quality, because these windows definitely don't sit right, but we'll ignore that. That wheel. Okay. And that one's better. That one's not bad. That one's definitely better than the other side. Not great. That one, yeah. Makes you dizzy. Spin it fast, make you dizzy. All right. Front end looks good, though. Windows look nice and suitably dirty. Rusty. Roof rack looks good. It's cool. I like it, even if it has some issues. That's kind of what you get with, unfortunately, with Greenlight. I think Greenlight may be taking the lead over M2 in quality control issues lately. I've gotten so many of them with windows that look bad. All right, so next up, I found another Studebaker Golden Hawk from Johnny Lightning, which is really strange because they put out. I had these two last week. This blue one and this kind of pinkish one, which these came out in their little aluminum tin series. I don't know what they call that series, but and then they now have put out apparently two more in the classic gold series, which just seems very strange to me because I can't imagine that this is a particularly popular car. And to put four of them out so that potentially you could have four versions of the car in the store, in a single store at the same time, just seems really strange to me. But I love them. I'm a huge fan of these Studebakers, especially the Greenlight Commanders, Studebaker Commanders. I love those cars, and these are very cool as well. And this one's actually really nice. I'm glad they put this out, and I would like to find the other version of it. I think it's, I don't remember what color it was. I think it's silver maybe. But this is nice. I might actually like it better than the blue one, which is my previous favorite. I like the white top, or the kind of a cream colored top and the cream color here, and this nice metallic gray. Just looks, it looks really good. I definitely like this one better. So even though I think it's strange that they're putting, that they've put four of these out at the same time, I'm glad they did. because it's cool to have variations, and this one is my favorite at this point until I can find the other version of it, and we'll see if that becomes my favorite. All right. Next up, so I had done, a week and a half ago or so, done the Gary's Diecast collection challenge video for, Cars of a Decade challenge, and I did the 1950s, and I had cars for every year except for 1950. And a number of people made suggestions on that video for cars from 1950. And while I was researching those suggestions, I actually came across the fact that M2 had this 1950 Oldsmobile 88. And then I was in the store the other day, and I realized that this car was readily available, and I had picked it up on numerous occasions prior, but never bought it. I wanted to get it. I liked it. But I tend to not like to buy just one car at a time. And so I just kept putting it back down because I couldn't find anything else to buy. And it turns out that it was a 1950. I didn't pay attention to the year before. I just thought it looked like a cool car. And I should have bought it because then I would have had a 1950. And it's a cool one. I like this. I think this is a really cool model. So let's go ahead and take this off the base. As I'd mentioned in other videos, I've always been a little bit hesitant with M2 because my early experiences with the brand were very poor from a quality perspective. But of late, I haven't had as many issues. I've actually had more issues with Greenlight than I have with M2, which is a little bit disappointing. But I also buy a lot more Greenlight than I buy M2. I just like Greenlight a lot better overall. But I've talked about how I've developed more of an interest for these older cars from the 50s and even before. And M2 is probably the leader in models for that era. So if you want a 1950, there aren't a whole lot of options. People did give me a few suggestions for other models from 1950, and there are others that exist, but I think this one is the coolest of all of the ones that I saw. And so this was a 1950 Oldsmobile Rocket 88, or just 1950 Oldsmobile 88, but I think it is. Maybe the Rocket is a slightly different thing. I'm not sure, but yeah, nice engine in there. Oh no, there we go. There's the M2 problem. Never trust the hoods. Okay, good. Yep, never open that again. Am I going to be foolish enough to do the doors open? They look like they should open. I'm not going to bother. We'll assume that they're going to break if I do that. So they already aren't sitting all that great. Interior on this doesn't look spectacular anyways. So we just look at the car this way, look at it from a distance. That looks pretty sweet. If you like this era of car at all. And I'm definitely, as I get more of them and I spend more time looking at them and studying them, I am really gaining an appreciation for 1950s cars. So if you haven't explored them, I recommend that you do. And go watch my Cars of the 1950s video. I had a lot of fun making that one. So, okay, let's see. So I picked up these Sparkies. I'm not going to open these, but this is this one. I talked about this in the unboxing video for these. This is the Nissan. This is an LMP1 car that they ran at Le Mans in 2015, and it's an incredibly unique, incredibly advanced, and very experimental LMP1 car because it is it's referred to as front mid-engined and front wheel drive. So the engine, most LMP1 cars, because these Porsches are LMP1 cars as well. So this is a Porsche 919. So in these cars, the engine is at the in the rear mid engine. So it's in this area here, whereas on the Nissan, it's in this area here. So it's in front of the driver, which is a very unusual design. And then of course, race cars like this are they're either rear wheel drive or they're all wheel drive. And since this is a hybrid, I think the Porsche may actually have had all wheel drive. I could be wrong about that. But the Nissan was front wheel drive, and it's a very interesting design. It's not a beautiful car for sure, but it's a fascinating car to me. So and I was very happy to get this model. It was not a very successful car. They never really got the hybrid system on this to work correctly, so the car ran with heavily diminished horsepower, and they ran 3 cars. I think 2 of them broke, and one kind of limped to the finish and way down the order. So not a successful car, but it's a cool car. I'm very happy to have it. And then I picked up two Porsche 919s. These are from the same year, 2015. So these were competitors to that Nissan, and another I love the 24 Hours of Le Mans is a race I've always been fascinated with, and I absolutely love the cars from every era, starting back in the 20s through to modern day. I just love all the cars, so I collect as many different models as I can find for Le Mans cars. So I'm not going to open those, like I said. I'll do another video on race cars specifically, but I do love them, and I'm incredibly happy to have that Nissan. I've wanted that for a long time. All right, so let's look at something a little bit different. Let's start. So these are some Chinese brands. These are not super premium brands, as far as I know. They're more toy level, kind of like a majorette kind of level, or maybe a Siku or something like that. So these two are from XCartoys, and this one is from a brand called Tiny. And Tiny might be a little bit nicer. I'm not sure. We'll see in a minute, but let's take a look at these. So the first one is this is Beijing police livery, which is the primary reason that I got it. And this is a Jeep, which is interesting if the Beijing police actually use Jeeps. That's kind of surprising to me. But it's so it looks to be a kind of like a majorette. It's it seems it does have a plastic front end here, but this is like a piece. This is, where'd my toothpick go? So this is a plastic piece all the way across here, and then it's painted on top of that, I believe. And it has suspension, which would be very similar to a majorette. Plastic wheels, it's plastic base, metal body, and painted taillights, and then nice, actually pretty nice looking light bar. It's not a bad looking model at all, in reality. It's not a super high end premium model, but it's very cool, and I'm very happy because I collect international police cars, so I'm very happy to have this added to that collection. So it's cool. So this is an XCartoys. It's a little bit of an unusual Chinese brand. And then another XCartoys, Audi RS6 Avant. So I picked this up obviously because I collect wagons, and I love the Audi wagon. And I've recently picked up several other versions of this, or of the Audi wagon, I should say, not of this. And let's give this a look. So we've got something here. What is this? Oh, it comes with a roof box and some kind of, man, why won't my camera focus? Yeah, so it's got a roof box, and then maybe those are little like 2-sided tape or something to stick it on there. It doesn't look like it looks like decal paper, but I don't see any. Oh no, yeah, they are decals. Oh, it's badges. You got to put on the badges. There's a little tiny RS6 badge. So apparently this is a little bit of a do-it-yourself kind of thing. And a Quattro badge. Interesting. All right. Oh, but there's, it's not. I don't. Maybe that's intended for that roof box because there is a Quattro badge on there, and the RS6 badge is on there. It's and you've got the Audi on the Audi rings on the front, and this doesn't look bad at all. I mean, it definitely doesn't feel as nice as a Mini GT. It's lighter, has a plastic base. Got some detail on the base. That's a little surprising. That's interesting. Used under license by Beijing, and then a big long word that I'm not even going to try to pronounce. Used under license by. Is that meant to imply that this is licensed without saying that it's actually licensed? Or does that mean this car is actually licensed? Where's the other one? The Jeep. The Jeep doesn't even tell you what it is. Interesting. So is this car licensed? That's great if it is. Make me feel... Yeah, actually right there. Trademarks, design patents, and copyrights are used with the approval of the owner, Audi AG. Cool. Glad to see that. If it's true. Not bad. It's not a bad looking model. Wheels look pretty good. They're plastic. Plastic. One piece plastic. Taillights don't look too bad. So if we compare it to the Mini GT, it even looks like it's probably pretty close in scale. It's maybe a little small. Although I don't... Yeah, these are not the same year. Focus. Not the same year. But not bad. No suspension on this one. And it's kind of a flat green paint. But I don't know. It's cool. Happy to have that. All right. Let's see. I'm going to do one more here, and then I think this Matchbox, and then I think we're running too long already. And I'll have to do another video for these premium models because I want to spend more time looking at those anyways. I'll quickly show them off. Okay, this is a much heavier model. Much heavier than the XCartoys, so I think it's still a plastic base, but the casting itself feels heavier. Plastic tires. Painted detail on the grill. Or maybe that's a separate piece. That may be a separate piece. It does have inserted headlights, which don't look terrible. Painted taillights. It's weird. Just a single silver piece for a light bar. I don't know. I mean, this is okay. It's not a terrible model. Right-hand drive. Yeah, again, I'd put this of a similar quality to probably a premium majorette. Not quite up to the deluxe level because it doesn't have rubber tires, but it's there's a lot of the other features. No, oh, it does have suspension. Interesting. The wheel just got stuck. That's not good. Well, it had suspension until I broke it. Okay, there it goes. Yeah. All right, cool. Glad to have this added to the collection. And so quickly, a quick look at these models. And one of the reasons why I want to spend more time on these is this specific model. This is the Mansory Cullinan. When I pulled this out of the box, I was pretty convinced that this was not 1/64 scale, even though it says on the back of it that it is 1/64 scale. But after I took a rough measurement of the wheelbase through the packaging, and it seems that this is just a cartoonishly large vehicle. So if we grab something that is most likely 1/64 scale, so those wheels are just enormous. And I looked it up, and apparently these vehicles come with 24-inch wheels. So the wheels are just cartoonishly large, and the vehicle overall is just cartoonishly large. But I want to spend the time to do the measurements on that to make sure that it's that it isn't to scale, and it very well may be. Then we have this CM model LB488 GTB, and we'll take a closer look at this. This looks to be a pretty beautiful model. And then we have two FJ Cruisers. Another BM Creations, which if you watched my video the last time I opened a BM Creations, I was not too thrilled with it. Hopefully this one is better. And then this one is from a brand called Stance Hunters, which this is the first vehicle that I've ever gotten from that brand. So we'll get both of these out and take a closer look at them. And then the last thing for this video is just a Matchbox 9-pack. Not too exciting. I think this is a earlier 2021 9-pack. Mainly got it for these two police vehicles and somewhat this bus. And we get another London taxi, which I'm not super thrilled with because I have that already. That came in the global set as well. It was also issued in the main line last year. This MGB was also in the global set. And then so we get another blue, this blue Jaguar F-Type, which I already have this one. And this thing, I don't know what this is. Rock Shocker. I guess this is supposed to be their fictional off-road racer truck thing. Don't know. It's interesting. And this van. Ford panel van. Nothing too special. Light bar on top for a plumbing company. Blue windows, which don't look very good from the front, but oh well, it's okay. And then bus, which is very plasticky. And oh wow, interesting. That's kind of cool. What does this say? See all the sneaks in the UK. David. So is this Lamley have anything to do with Lamley Group? I have no idea. I suppose it could, or it could not. Don't know. All right. Dodge Challenger in gold. This looks pretty good. Not my favorite casting. I do like this car. I like the ones from Auto World are pretty cool. Matchbox isn't terrible. It's better than the Hot Wheels versions, but it's okay. And then this, what is this? MBX Marine Cart, Marine Life Rescue. So, collect these police cars. So, had to have these two. Just for that. Nothing super exciting, but it's cool. I do like this one better. This is the Hudson Hornet, yeah. 51 Hudson Hornet. And let's see if I can actually read this. Can I read this? Oh, San Luis Obispo. I feel like I may already have this one. Because that seems really very familiar to me. Unless there was another car that I opened that happened to have the same livery. I don't know. All right. Anyway, so that was a lot. We still didn't get through everything really, but almost an hour. So I'm going to stop talking and say thank you for watching. Thank you for enduring if you made it this far. Like, comment, subscribe, all that kind of good stuff. And I'll talk to you next time.